Can you introduce yourself and say where you're from?
I can. Hello, my name is Michael, and I'm from LA.
I could feel the LA vibes coming from you,
Oh
man.
my God, can you really? No way. Oh my God, I love it. I love it.
So what made you come to Japan?
I wanted to learn Japanese, so I've been living here for like the past year up till June, and then I went back home to LA, but I've been here since October. So,
And what's your favorite thing about Japan?
oh, the safety. That's a good one. Leaving your phone on the table, your bags, walking away. It's still there after 10 minutes. Can't do that in LA.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you ever gotten anything lost or stolen in LA?
I've forgotten a lot of because it's so safe. Because it's so safe, I've always forgotten stuff. So I've forgotten my wallet many times, my phone. I've forgotten my camera one time, and it's always been there. That's the nice thing.
Has anyone ever like taken it and then returned it to you later?
Yes. Oh my God, yes. Twice. Both times were my wallet with my passport inside. And it was in a taxi, and they returned it from where they picked me up at. So I had
Oh
to go
yeah.
back to the main station. I was like, oh, I wonder if it's still here. And I went to the police station, and they're like, yeah, we have it. And I was like, oh, wow, this would not happen in America. And everything was inside. Can you
Yeah.
believe that's crazy?
I love the high trust society aspect of Japan, but on the flip side, when Japanese tourists go and like visit America,
Oh, I feel so sad for them. I'm just
they
like, they don't know any better. They're just like thinking they can leave their purses out. And so I'm like, no, that's not how it works. You gotta hide that stuff in the trunk away from prying eyes.
yeah, they learn real quick. Oh, what are like some of the worst things you've seen in like the streets of LA?
Of LA, it's just mostly like a lot of crazies, I feel. Like sometimes homeless people just get a little too aggressive, especially when they're asking for money. But some of them are not mentally fit or they're on drugs, so then that just makes things a little more scarier. But I personally haven't experienced too much of that stuff because I usually avoid downtown, honestly. I get scared. Yeah.
Probably a good call.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything? Let's move this down a little bit. Have you seen anything crazy in Japan?
A lot of like salarymen will come home drunk from, I guess, the bar, and then they'll just like literally whip it out and just like pee in the middle of the street. And I'm just like, hey, I guess I'm gonna cross the street and walk away from that.
Yeah,
Embarrassing.
there's a lot of public urination in Japan.
It's a lot more than LA that I've noticed from, I just don't, it's not my thing. Just gonna avoid that.
You make some sacrifices. Can't win it all. Very safe here, but you might see a couple things.
Public urination occasionally. It is what it is.
And you have a hobby that you do out here?
I love going to Disneyland. I would live there if I could. I would camp out in front of there if I could, but I can't. But I do love Disneyland. I think it's a lot cheaper than America's Disneyland, and there's just so much more to offer. And plus, I think the food is so much better.
What about like the characters there?
As far as the characters goes, they actually do show a lot of different characters than they would not show in regular Disneyland in Anaheim. But I'm not really in it for the characters. I'm in it for the food, in it for the rides, and maybe a beer or two.
You really have the heart of a 14-year-old Japanese girl.
I definitely do, and I dress like one too
That's
when I paid enough.
what situations do that come up?
Whatever happened between me and the men at the Love Hotel, it is what it is. I don't discuss it. We sign on the dotted line an NDA, and it is what it is. Whatever happens, happens.
So I guess we can't talk in specifics because of your NDA that you apparently have signed with multiple anonymous men. But
Yeah. Several, yeah, definitely multiple for sure. Yeah, not several, multiple.
how do you find them?
They find me. They're just lonely and they're a little drunk, and then they're like, "Hey, you new here?" I'm like, "No, but we can go to my Love Hotel." And then they're like, "Yeah, okay." It is what it is.
Damn. Extremely simple, streamlined approach there.
Yeah, I try to make it efficient so that way I can get as many men to come inside as much as they want. It is what it is.
How's Japanese people's gaydar?
I think it's pretty terrible, to be honest. I think the typical Japanese man has a terrible gaydar because they're kind of a little innocent. They just assume like if they make an OnlyFans that it'll mostly just be women. They don't understand how the world works sometimes, I think. At least in that regard. I don't think they realize that gay men are very common here.
Yeah. Do you think Japan's like accepting of gay people?
Yes and no. I think they're accepting enough that if you do your own thing as a gay person, that's fine. But as far as marriage goes, that hasn't even technically passed here. Only in Shibuya, weird enough, only in this area. But as the whole country, no. And, if they know you're gay, I don't think they're going to do anything and they're not too offended by it. But as far as like gay rights goes, that's kind of a little behind.
Right. Is there any specific place in Japan that gay people go to hang out?
There is, and I forgot the name, and I've been there once, and I was like, I'm good. That was just a hot mess for me.
I'm curious. Is it Shinjuku Nichome?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
How do I know this?
We're all questioning you too. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I went there once, and it was just kind of a hot mess. A bunch of drunk queens just, getting in each other's faces. I'm good. I'm not that kind of guy. I just like to go to my love hotel, and if they're there, they're there. You know?
It is what it is. Well, low key.
It is what it is.
And so I was actually going to change the subject. I guess it's somewhat similar. So recently, there's been a trending news event that happened. This guy, Luigi, shot the United Healthcare CEO. And he's going viral for being hot.
I will say he is hot. I'm not going to deny he's not hot. He's a very good looking guy. However, I don't necessarily agree with what he did, obviously, because it's just definitely wrong. But he's a very good looking guy. I will say that. And I understand his frustration because the American healthcare system is a little broken or a lot broken. But the way he went about it was probably not the best.
Yeah, it was kind of like theatrical the way he made the statement of having like the message written on the shell casings.
Yes. And also, I think it's kind of weird how he got caught because he seems so very smart about everything else, but then he just got caught at a McDonald's, and I was like, that's kind of weird, but, I guess he just lost his guard for a second.
Yeah, well, he wasn't a professional. He was just some kid. Right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Very good-looking guy, I'm saying.
And he clearly hasn't watched enough murder documentaries to know the basics.
But he's going to be really popular in prison with all those guys there.
That's
all the queens in there, and they're like, hey, girl, you one of us or what?
That's what I was saying. The topic is not fully related, but it's not completely unrelated. I don't know what I'm saying.
But I'm sure he's gonna be popular. They're gonna be treating him like a true king. They're like, hey, yo, king, I got you. I dropped the soap.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that works out for Luigi in the coming years. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Poor guy.
And in other politics, we have a new president coming in. What's his name again?
Donald Trump.
Oh,
so, yeah, that's
that
right.
guy.
Yeah, that's the guy.
What are your thoughts on him leading the country?
Very, very not good. But at the end of the day, I guess it is what the people wanted. I don't necessarily agree with all of it. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of his policies, but it is what it is. The people voted, and we're just going to have him for the next 4 years, and we're not going to contest this whole election.
Is there any political issue going on right now that you care deeply about?
I mean, I think a lot of that transgender stuff seems to be very important for a lot of conservatives, and also, I guess, erasing or removing gay-themed topics in schools. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because I do think a lot of young kids are adopted by gay families, but I just feel like they make that a lot bigger than it is versus like I think gun control should be really on topic. I mean, especially with what happened, but even in a household, like young kids can also get guns from where their parents may have it hidden, and that's just a little scary to me. But I think a lot of these topics will be addressed by him and among other topics in the next 4 years, and we'll just see how it plays out.
Yeah, definitely like the whole transgenderism issues, I feel like it's being used to polarize people more, and it's like a conservative hot button topic rather than being something that's actually like an important topic for everyday people in America.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are far more bigger topics that we should be tackling, but this really seems to be at the forefront for them, and it is what it is. I think they're just really passionate about whatever they want to talk about. So,
what do you think about U.S. giving foreign aid to countries when they have problems they have to fix at home?
I mean, yeah, they're all very touchy topics, and I feel like it could be handled better. But I do think, like, even if let's say they cut everything off, it's just going to create this catastrophic, I guess, war in a sense where it's like, oh, you're not helping me, and then you got other countries like, oh, finally, and then it's so much to handle when you just cut things off just immediately. And I do think they should handle it in some way. They just got to think about it.
That's true. We're pretty embroiled, it's, in all these world affairs. Let's see. Let's change topics again. So are you a food blogger of some kind?
I do create content around food, and it's just mostly just where I go. So it's not necessarily like someone's asked me to come in or they paid me to come in. It's like, no, I'm 99% of it is me going in, just posting about places I like to go eat. Sometimes it's actually places I don't even like going eating, and I just didn't like it. But I will talk about like, oh, I didn't like this dish, but this dish was fine. So it's just me and my food adventures, honestly.
Okay, so it's like authentic, whatever your reaction is.
Yeah, but it is also more storytelling, I feel. I don't
Mm.
necessarily have an on-camera reaction where it's like I'm talking about the flavors and the complexities and stuff like that. It's just more like, oh, I ate here. You guys might want to check it out. They're serving this, and it was one of my favorite things to eat here or whatever.
What are a couple places you'd recommend in Japan that we might not know?
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. We're getting started on the subject. Actually, one of the places I go to frequently is called Hikiniku Tokome, and it's right on the corner in Dogonzaka, in Shibuya, and they serve hamburger patties over rice, and their hamburger is like kind of surreal almost because I've had so many of that in Japan, but this place really seems to nail it on doing it correctly and really serving a fine piece of hamburger patty. But I did recently go to a new ramen restaurant, which I have never been impressed by ramen until I went to this place. It is super good. It's the most random location in Utenji, which is in the middle of nowhere. And it's called Ramen Breakbeat. This guy, the owner, used to be like a DJ, lived in Canada, and now he's here. And the ramen there is just superb. And why they haven't gotten more press and accolades is beyond me, but I'm kind of glad because that means it's low key and not as busy. But it's super good. You should check it out.
Well, we're about to blow their shop up with this interview, so.
It's great, I'm telling you.
Yeah, people are always looking for the best like burger and ramen in Japan. Those are two top things. So,
Those are definitely it.
any food item besides those that's making the top 3 ranks?
You know, I think people give revolving sushi a bad rap here. I actually like them. Now, to be fair, I'm not here about like sushi row or like kura, but I do like there are other ones I've been to. I'm like, this is actually pretty damn good, and it's hard to complain when prices are $2 to $3 a plate versus back home where they're $5 a plate, and you know the forced tipping in America that just makes things so much more exponentially expensive. So, but I do think revolving sushi gets a bad rap, and I'm like, it's not the greatest, but it's not that bad as people make it sound. So I think you should check them out. There's so many.
Yeah, and for the experience, hey, sushi rolling around to you on a conveyor belt, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and a lot of them too, you can just order directly. If you don't want to pick up the revolving ones, you can just order them. So.
Have you done anything you regret in Japan?
No. Oh my god, I'm too petrified to break any laws or do anything bad.
Okay.
But it's also because Japan has that kind of culture in that society where you don't break rules. Like I don't jaywalk, I don't eat while I talk. I don't eat while I walk, sorry. Wait. Yeah. Okay, yes. Yeah, I got it. I don't jaywalk, and I don't eat while I walk, and I don't drink anything on the train. I don't talk on my phone on the train. But I know these things would happen in other countries, especially in America, where it's very just like you do what you want. So I try to abide by whatever countries' laws and stuff are, just so I'm respectful. But yeah, I'm too scared to do anything wrong. I'm just really petrified.
Yeah, that's good. No, you're a respectful gaijin. This is the kind of gaijin we want. Not the dancing on the train type gaijins.
Oh no, those are the worst. I've seen those videos and I'm like, why?
Yeah, making a bad name for us.
Yeah, seriously.
And is there anything you want to do in Japan that you haven't done yet?
I would like to explore more parts of Japan. Like I haven't been to Fukuoka. I would love to go there. I would love to even go to Kobe. I would also like to go to Kanagawa. Kanagawa seems like fun. And also Aomori, because I know that area is like known for is it strawberries or apples or both? I don't know which one it is.
The apples.
Yeah, I think it's apples. But I've never been there. And a lot of those places I hear really great things about. And also, I would really like to go to Okinawa because I love Hawaii, and I hear it's very similar to Hawaii. So.
Yeah. No, good list of places off the top of your head. It's very diverse too, as well. Like Kanagawa, Aomori.
Yeah, I try to be a little inclusive.
Okay. And let's see. Are you aware of the falling birth rate problem in Japan?
I am aware of that. I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's really common even in the States, though, because a lot of my friends are choosing not to have kids because they just enjoy their own lives. But I don't know if that's the case here, and I don't know why it's falling. And maybe it's because, dates are not as successful here. I don't know. But I do know as far as my friends go in the States, a lot of them they just want to live their own life. And that's fine. As long as they know what they want versus like having the kid and like, I don't really want to have a kid anymore.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of hard economy and people do just want to live their life. Freedom. You got a taste of freedom, don't want to give it up.
Yeah, they don't. They're like, I like traveling.
Right. Are you familiar with the rising syphilis rates in Japan?
No, what? What?
You heard it here first.
That one I don't know. Unless you're making it up, I don't know about that.
No, literally, sometimes if you go into a clinic, they'll have a poster that's like a PSA of like, watch out, syphilis rates are rising, wrap it up.
That's crazy. That's also like when I walk by certain police stations and they have the number of like death or something and they put like 1 or 2 and it's like, oh, okay, that's interesting to put up.
Very straightforward about these things.
They are. They're very straightforward.
Okay, I think we can call it a wrap. Any message you want to leave for the viewers?
Yes, if you are coming to Japan, please be respectful of the laws and like the rules here. And I know it's hard to understand, but you just got to do it. Or you should do it. I won't say you got to do it, but you really should try to abide by it as much as you can and just be respectful. Don't be an asshole. Don't be that guy that wrote his initials on the shrine or whatever it was, or don't be doing all that dumb stuff. Be nice.
Yep. Catch you next time. See you guys.